Ryan Coogler's Sinners is one of the few times I see a film and can't stop thinking about it. This April, he dropped a vampire flick layered in music and complex characters that created a journey unlike anything we have seen done before in horror films. The end result was a film that truly stands the test of time, giving us an original event film we needed. Given that Sinners recently hit HBO Max, I decided to rewatch Sinners to see how this film stood after the hype. Were we just blinded by hype at the time, or was it worth it? Well, let's find out and revisit Sinners after the hype. The story of Sinners is something so fresh and unique. The basic premise of this story is we are in the Jim Crow era, where two twins, Smoke and Stack, come back to their hometown to open up a juke joint, but then discover they are being hunted by vampires. In its simplest form, that's what this film is. It's a vampire story. But what I love about it is that it doesn't start that way. The film starts off as a film about music and the love of the blues. Then towards the second act, it shifts into a completely different direction. It's what makes it stand out. Even though it's a horror film, it can feel like it's not. In a way, this is just a genre film and less of an original horror movie. The marketing alone makes you think this is some vampire horror flick, but there is so much more to it. It's what makes it so groundbreaking. It gives you such a rich story with deep, complex characters in the vessel of a vampire film, but in reality, it is so much more that makes it so enjoyable. One thing I always see people online complain about is there is no originality, but when it does happen, no one watches it. But if you want something that feels so fresh and new, there is no better place to start than with Sinners. Using ideas we have seen in other films, but in the way it tells its story, in its concepts and its themes, it's so refreshing. The story of Sinners deals with racial violence, religion, assimilation, freedom, and exploitation, all in the form of a supernatural vampire story, in a way that feels scary but also so different. It's a film that sticks with you long after the credits roll, because there are so many layers to peel back in this story that makes it such a treat to sit through. Even the title alone, while I was just on a drive, I started thinking of its meaning. I remember one scene from the official trailer. In it, it says, "We are all sinners," or something along those lines. I then realized this film is meant for what our sins do to us, not just in religion, but also in our choices we make, for better or worse. What Ryan Coogler did here was nothing more than extraordinary. I'm not crazy about the Black Panther films like everyone, but I'll be lying if I said it didn't hold any quality. I absolutely love what he did with Creed. There isn't any real denying he's one of the best filmmakers of his generation. One really important part of this film is actually the music. Coogler actually said that Sinners was his most personal film. Considering his film before this was literally meant to be a love letter to Chadwick Boseman, I think that speaks volumes. And in the final product, it shows. Coogler said that his uncle played a lot of blues music in his childhood, so that in turn informed the soul of music in this story. His passion for the blues is clear as day in the entire runtime. Ludwig Göransson, who composed the film, really deserves his flowers here, because this man was at the top of his game. Him being Coogler's roommate really makes it more personal. He even served as executive producer. All of his music just adds layers to the story whenever it's played or actual score. It adds depth to what the film is actually trying to say. The opening sequence alone sets this film up for greatness, starting with a small monologue that tells us everything we need to know, showcasing a story about how there are legends about music so powerful that can bring in spirits, both from the past and future. About how this can bring fame and fortune, but it can also bring in pure evil. We see hints towards the greatness of music through Miles Catton's character Sammy. When the film starts, we see a scene of him covered in blood and a scar on his face, but then we flash back the day later to see how he is around his father, who doesn't approve of his music. We see Sammy preparing for church, but when he tells his father he's going out, they have a conversation. He tells him, if you keep doing this, one day bad things will happen, which becomes really important later on. Both scenes foreshadow what is about to come perfectly, all coming together to my favorite scene of the film when the "I Lied to You" song plays. We see Sammy play music so true that it brings in spirits of the past and future. So powerful, it attaches devils to come along, but we'll touch on the horror side a bit later. Because the music doesn't end there, giving us a sense of freedom that only can be shown through great visual storytelling. We see the twins Smoke and Stack buying a place from a former clan member. They buy a place to open a juke joint. They return home after work for Al Capone. They buy the place, but they give the owner warning that if he comes back, they will hunt him down. Showcasing this film dabbling in social commentary around racism, and this becomes important later on. As characters, Smoke and Stack are incredibly different. Smoke is more patient about his actions, but also ruthless. But Stack, on the other hand, is quick and uneasy. Smoke has been the brawn, but Stack is more of the brains. Smoke is a killer, but Stack is smart for the tactics and they work together so well. Later, they go and pick up Sammy so they can get supplies for the juke joint. They go get fish and a red banner from a friend. They get a piano player and a guard for security, all of whom become crucial to the film's entire story. Some get less screen time than others, but all work in the context of the film. Now, one scene I noticed on rewatch was the scene when Smoke and Stack killed the snake. Sammy looks scared when it happens, but Smoke and Stack remain calm and end it without mercy, demonstrating how these characters operate. Smoke and Stack then argue if they should open tonight. Stack is thinking they should do it and just go out with a bang, but Smoke thinks they should wait and not go out with a whimper. They then decide to split up, with Sammy going his own ways with Stack to get supplies. Smoke goes off into town so he can get some food for the event. Before he does though, he runs into a girl and asks if he knows who the Smoke Stack twins are. The girl says yes, and Smoke says who he is. When he says this, the girl looks scared, as if she was about to get killed. It really shows that Smoke and Stack aren't the best people. They are people who have murdered and hurt many people. He then asks her to keep watch and honk if anyone steals anything from his car. For every minute he is gone, she gets 10 cents. Looking back today, it's actually kind of crazy how money went back then. Smoke goes into the store to meet an old friend to get some catfish for 100 people. Before he does though, his friend asks if they hit Vegas big. They did, but not in the way they think. Then someone tries to steal something from his car, but they knew it was his car but didn't believe them. He stops it, then goes back inside, all showing how ruthless Smoke can be. Where Stack is, we get one of my favorite scenes of the film where Sammy plays for the first time.
We gonna make some money. We gonna make some money.
They also have a really nice conversation beforehand, but the reason why this is one of the best scenes is because it represents one thing: the soul of music. This scene captures that perfectly with both the voice and chords. In just a small but intimate scene, it does that to a T. Along the way, we meet other characters that also become extremely important, like Stack's ex Mary or Smoke's estranged wife Annie. These two characters are both insanely interesting, especially Mary. We get one of the most wild scenes in the entire film when Mary finds Stack at the train station. The two are old flames and lovers, but Stack ran off, but Mary returned because she buried her mom. She walks off and tells Smoke to rot in hell. She's only part of the family that has some racial heritage. This character is so layered in her complexity, but those get more apparent as the film continues, and what Haley Steinfeld did to this role is nothing more than extraordinary. It truly feels like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of role. When Smoke goes off to see Annie after years, it shows a more serious manner. The two were going strong until the death of their son. In this scene, they have a conversation about what they've been up to before they rekindle their love, showcasing both their characters' journey over the years and who they are. Once the juke joint opens, the musical aspect goes up a level. Everyone is now there. We see a lot of great scenes here, even very small things like Smoke, Stack, and Annie talking about pricing, but there are a lot of more things impactful here. When Mary arrives, we get a really good scene. We see when Stack was reunited with her, he had a wall opened, but then when he sees her again, he lets that down. It shows a more vulnerable side to the character. It can really humanize him, and I really like that. It's here where we get the "I lied to you" scene, where the music is so powerful it brings in music from the past and future. We see stuff from today, the 80s, and even going back centuries. Music so damn powerful the building went on fire. But it's here where Remick arrives, but we will touch on him more in a second. What I will say is, I like that they use actual Irish music. Meanwhile, the stuff for Sammy is original music. It really shows the difference between the two factions. The reason for the Irish music was because of Coogler's obsession with Irish music. That is shown throughout the entire film. I don't think another type would work, honestly. The first act lends itself to a good setup for what's to come, while towards the second act and the third act, that's where it really shifts. That theme of music sticks throughout the entire film though, but also feels like a love letter to the arts of music. What that can do to people, for better or worse. But then the film takes a complete 180 in the best way possible. As I said, this film at times just feels like a genre film, not just a normal horror film. But it's here where I went from liking Sinners to loving it. As while yes, the first act is really good, it can go slow even though it needed to. But once the shot switches to a farm in the middle of nowhere, you can see something is about to go down. We are introduced to Remick as he runs into a clan house owned by Bert and Joanne for protection. Some people come in to warn them. At first, he seems innocent, so they let him in. They wish them well, but then it's too late. Remick turned Bert into a vampire and Joan screams in terror. Now, one thing I found super interesting was the inspiration for the vampires. Ryan Coogler said he took inspiration from Death in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. You can see so much of that, specifically with the red eyes, but also just the dread these vampires bring, whether it's Remick or anyone else. When it was announced this would be Vampires vs. the Clan, I was insanely hyped. As a lover of horror and Coogler's work, I just knew this would be killer. Remick alone is easily one of the best villains I have seen in a long time. This dude acts like this calm, polite man, but in reality, he is far from that. He is a racist, pure evil devil. This character wants nothing more than Sammy's music to bring back his past. His motives are great, and Jack O'Connell was incredible. But let's get back to the story where we see Remick get to the juke joint. He says he heard of a party was going on, but he isn't let in because he's white. He then plays some nice Irish music with Joanne and Bert, but not even that lets them in, and once Smoke almost brings out his gun, he just walks away slowly. Later on, Stack realizes they need money, otherwise the joints will close down. So Mary goes to Remick to ask for some money. Meanwhile, Smoke and Sammy have an argument. It's here where Smoke tells him to stop playing music. Mary walks up to them playing music and is able to get the money, but she does feel creeped on. But before she goes back inside, she is turned into a vampire. Mary then gives the money that is centuries old to Stack. The two go into a room to get it on. When the joint is turning into a nightmare and Smoke needs Stack, he sends Sammy to find him. When he found him and went to Smoke since he wasn't let in, once they opened, Mary bites Stack's neck and Smoke shoots her, but she gets up and runs off. This freaks Smoke out since she didn't die and just got back up. He sends everyone out besides Annie, Perline, Sammy, Delta, and Grace. It's here where the terror really kicks in, as they have no idea what to do and what is going on and who is even attacking them. Sammy then tells them what his father told him, and whether he likes it or not, he was right. It went against his religion, leading to the devil coming after him. Cornbread went off to go to the bathroom and came back like nothing happened. Smoke is now way more skeptical and isn't sure what to think. He asks for his money since he won't be let back in. When he reaches out his arm, Cornbread almost bites him, but before he does, Smoke shoots him. After that, Stack wakes up after being turned. The people inside question what is going on, but they know something is wrong. Stack demands to be let out and then breaks free. Then Annie throws garlic at him, leading them to finding out they are vampires. Smoke makes a deal with Annie where if she is bitten, he must kill her. He doesn't want to, but promises to do so. They find a dead person who has been bitten, so Smoke and Sammy take it outside where something is going down. It's here where Remick is singing with the people he turned. What this scene is great at is the importance of Remick as a character. The song The Rocky Road to Dublin is a song about the Irish man traveling the country, showcasing the truth about this character. He may put on an American accent, but it's here where that just goes away, showcasing Remick's life journey, but the people dancing just made it even better. As many Irish people were restricted due to the British colonialism, in turn show us how discrimination has impacted not only him, but also the people he has turned along the way. It truly is a great scene, showing us everything in such a different way. Anyway, after dragging the body outside, Smoke and Sammy head back inside. They then all eat garlic to make sure no one has turned. If you refuse to, you will be shot. All eat it, and none of them have been bitten. Someone then begs to be let in who hasn't been bitten, and when they go to open it, it's too late, and Cornbread gets him. Grace's husband then comes, who is now turned, but then Remick tells them everything. He tells them that the juke joint was meant to kill them. He threatened Grace's daughter, but before anything else can happen, they close the door. Grace has now lost her patience as she wants to protect her daughter. The mob of vampires get close to the juke joint. She then tries to get out there, but the group grab her, but there is no effect. She yells and tells them to come in, Star-Lord Infinity War style, and then the final battle commences. Now, I really do not like this. I understand why it's there, but this stuff just annoys me with movies in general. But again, that's more of a me problem than anything. We then see a big battle go down. We see Annie get bitten and Smoke fulfill his promise and kills her. And this scene just had so much pain, and how well it was handled. These characters were just so well done. Sammy then runs outside while being chased by Remick, where he says he wants his music to bring back his relatives. Meanwhile, Smoke is battling his brother as the mob come closer to Sammy. Remick is at his most terrifying here, and Sammy's reaction just proves that. It's pure horror at its finest. Sammy then throws his guitar at Remick's head, which leads to his plan being a failure. Meanwhile, the sun is about to come out and his skin starts to burn. Smoke then stabs Remick and grabs Sammy. The sun then comes out, leading to all the vampires being burned. This sequence is such a great scene, not only because it's satisfying, but also because of how far these characters have gone. And that is the end of the horror element. It's a film that shows the devil's work through the use of music and how that element weaves its way to make a conclusive narrative for everyone. We are now towards the end of the movie. Sammy and Smoke go their separate ways. It goes where the film opens and Sammy goes to the church covered in blood and all. Meanwhile, Smoke awaits the clan members coming after him. One scene I love is how Smoke is just trying to, well, smoke, but he is struggling to do so. I find this interesting because at the first scene, he does it with ease. But now he is struggling after losing his wife and his brother. He has literally lost everything. We then see him prepare for the clan members. They come in a car to attack him and he lives up to his word. If they ever step foot, he will kill them all. He does it with ease, but at the cost of his own life. He dies smoking as he enters the afterlife, seeing both his dead wife and his dead son. He died a happy man with the people he loved, making his character feel complete. What Michael B. Jordan did, I think, was just incredible. This being his 5th Coogler collaboration shows how far he has come, giving us his best performance yet. But then we are treated with an epilogue for the after credit scene. We are decades later, seeing an older Sammy. He is now playing at a club and has come a long way since the night at the juke joint. He is about to go home after his shift until something happens. Stack and Mary walk in and visit Sammy. They haven't aged a day and they have a nice conversation about what they have been up to recently. Seeing Smoke talk about how different his life is, not being able to see his son anymore or his brother was really nice. Also telling us how he survived and how his brother didn't kill him, knowing that deep down he was the one person he couldn't kill. Also telling him to leave Sammy alone, which he did until now. It's clear that Sammy is not doing well health-wise. Stack offers to fix that, but he declines. Stack talks about how he really misses real music and asks Sammy if he still has it in him, to which he decides to play some classic music. As Sammy plays the music, we are treated with many flashbacks from the film, them entering the joint and when Sammy played for the first time and many more. The two then leave, going their separate ways. This is where the film ends, concluding the story in the best possible way it could. Going out with a bang makes everything feel complete. It truly feels like a once-in-a-lifetime journey that feels like a great way to end things off. Showing us how music can be so powerful, it can bring back spirits of life and death. How that can be both a good thing and bad thing. The horrors of discrimination in an era most probably don't know. Ryan Coogler truly delivered his magnum opus with this film, layered in deep, emotional, and complex characters, giving us a story filled with tragedy, pain, but also love, with villains that truly stand the test of time, and the themes so timeless it sticks with you long after the credits roll. Sinners is still truly a masterpiece even after the hype. So guys, what did you think of Sinners? Let me know in those comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. But until next time, take care.